अस्सलाम वालेकुम व्यूवर्स, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल। आज के वीडियो में मैं आप लोगों को बताऊंगी रेमंड विलियम की मॉडर्न ट्रेजेडी के बारे में। रेमंड विलियम बायोग्राफी। रेमंड विलियम वाज अ प्रोमिनेंट कल्चरल थ्योरिस्ट, लिटरेरी क्रिटिक एंड socialist thinker who made a contribution to understanding culture, society and politics. He was born on 31 August 1921 and he was died on 26 January 1988. Modern Tragedy book was first published in 1966. In this book, William sees tragedy both in terms of literary tradition and its relation to the tragedies of modern society and of individual experience. Tragedy and tradition. Tragedy and tradition is basically about tragedy and historical perspective. He said both tragedy and tradition are interconnected. वो कहता है कि जो tragedy और tradition है वो both are interlinked हैं. In this essay, Raymond William discusses common as well as the traditional meaning of tragedy. According to William, tragedy as a word has not changed, but as a dramatic form, it has many changes. According to Raymond William, tradition doesn't mean to accept past entirely, rather it is analyzing and evaluating the past in a present perspective. He says that tradition is not a past but an interpretation of the past. Moreover, tragic works should be examined critically as well as historically. He said tragedy is not about death, suffering and accident. Also, it's not a simply response to death or suffering. Tragedy is an immediate experience, a body of literature as well. It's a more personal and general. It is a particular kind of event and a particular kind of response. Tragedy in different eras. In people think that the medieval period produced no tragedy, but Monk's Tale is the example of it. In Greek tragedy, the tragic change is from happiness to misery, but in medieval tragedy, it is a form from prosperity to adversity. The tragic heroes remains unchanged both in classical and medieval tragedies. Later tragedies become more sexualized in the Renaissance and New Classical age. During the New Classical period, the moving force of the tragedy was now a matter of behavior rather than a metaphysical condition. The term dignity was given special importance. A dignified man was considered to be a man of style. Behavior became more important as well as its mean. An ordinary man could also behave in a dignified manner. The real spirit of tragedy was more rather than a metaphysical. अच्छा, ये वाली लाइन्स आप लोग छोड़ सकते हैं यहाँ से, ठीक है। ड्यूरिंग द न्यू क्लासिकल, ये मैंने भी छोड़ दी थी, बस सिर्फ नोट्स बनाने के लिए लिखी थी, लेकिन छोड़ दी थी। उसके बाद इसका नेक्स्ट टॉपिक आ जाता है लेजिंग एंड ट्रेडिशन. Lessing and tradition. According to Raymond William Lessing, a German critic who dramatist also contribute in the idea of tradition. He considered new classicism as a false criticism. He said Shakespeare was the only real inheritor of Greek tragedy, but William was not agree with Lessing in his regard. ठीक है, Lessing जो था एक जर्मन क्रिटिक था जो कि ऐसे कहता था. He told that Shakespeare didn't inherit Greek, but he had a new concept of tragedy. In William views, Lessing failed to understand the difference between Greek tragedy and Shakespearean tragedy as he mixed both tragedies. उसके बाद आ गया सेकुलर. डिफरेंस बिटवीन ग्रीक एंड एलिजाबेथन ड्रामा. यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा लाइन लगा के थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस बता दीजिएगा. ऑल ड्रामाज आफ्टर रेनेसांस वर सेकुलर बेस्ड ऑन गॉड एंड एविल एंड पोएट जस्टिस, whereas it is believed that the Greek drama was religious. Elizabeth drama based on suffering at the end of the era and happiness at the end of the virtue, whereas Greek drama is based on suffering as well as happiness as a will of fate. उसके बाद आ जाता है ट्रेजेडी एंड कंटेम्प्रेरी आइडियाज़. William has discussed the four things in relation: order and accident, the destruction of the hero, the permanent action of its connection with death, and the importance of evil. Order and accident. It is generally said that there is no significant meaning in every tragedy because the event itself is not tragic. Event only become tragic through a shaped response. William disagreed with the view. He can't see how it is possible to difference between an event and response to an event in any absolute way. The destruction of the hero. The most common understanding of tragedy is that it is an action in which the hero is destroyed. In most of the tragedies, the story doesn't end with the destruction of the hero. It follows on modern tragedy. It's not about what happened to the hero, but it's about what happened through him. When we concentrate on the hero, we are limited our attention to the individual. ये यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा ब्लर है, लेकिन मैंने आपको पढ़ के ठीक सुनाया, ठीक है. The tragic of the citizen should be as real as the tragedy of the prince. The middle class rejected rank in tragedy. उसके बाद permanent action and its connection with death. The tragic experience is the fact that life doesn't return. Death gives importance and meaning to life. The death of an individual brings the entire society together in a form of rituals and prayers. Death is universal. Man dies in many different conditions due to bombs, with or without family in their presence or absence. When he dies, he affects others. The importance of evil. Man dies alone in the interpretation and note of the fact because when he dies, he affects others. Tragedy shows evil in a variety of ways, including Christians, cultural, and political evils. Good and evil are not fact. We are good or bad in particular ways and its particular situation. Characterized by pressures that we once caught, change, and create again. उसके बाद man is naturally nothing and we are good or bad in particular ways in particular situation. In the end, we can say that Raymond William has analyzed the concept of tragedy with reference to contemporary ideas. From modern concept of tragedy, observer and critic can get a lot of information. In short, it is a great work of criticism by Raymond William. अगर आप लोग ये क्वेश्चन रेडी कर लेते हैं, कंटेम्प्रेरी आइडियाज़ भी मैंने इसके यहाँ पे शेयर कर दिए हैं, उसके अलावा डिटेल सारा है जो अगर आप इसको रेडी करते हैं तो आपके अच्छे खासे मार्क्स आ जाएंगे. सो नेक्स्ट वीडियो तक मुझे दीजिए इजाज़त. सी यू सून. अल्लाह हाफिज़.